Bourdain treated ordering soup like a search and rescue mission, and now every man thinks they have to spelunk into some cave in order to get a bowl of pho, and unless they do, they're not really having dinner.
Anthony Bourdain destroyed the modern chef culture because of his non-stop quest to find the perfect soup. Utter and complete nonsense, of which there is absolutely no meaning to derive from it, as it is gibberish. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Barry Weiss. That was the extent of my knowledge of the Weisses. Barry Weiss, of course, one of the people who stated that there was effectively a woke witch hunt taking place within the ranks of the New York Times, and that they were going to come for their own journalists if they weren't adhering to the proper orthodoxy, and then did a rage quit and left herself. Which is kind of funny. I love people who like try to pretend as if they are potential victims, but they're victims in wanting, like as if like I want to be oppressed, and so I feel that eventually, because of gender ideology, woke orthodoxy, that I'm eventually going to be canceled and I won't be allowed to publish articles in the New York Times. I'm also just leaving the New York Times because it's just a woke cesspool. So there you have it. The cult of personality of Anthony Bourdain, left in his wake is frankly insufferable, says the Free Press's brand new Suzie Weiss. Here's how he broke a generation. Oh, here's how it broke how a generation of men eat. So this is going after Anthony Bourdain, and this is the problem with Anthony Bourdain.
Anthony Bourdain broke how a generation of men eat. The cult of personality he left in his wake is frankly insufferable. A lot of what we're seeing in food culture, chef culture today has its roots in the type of eating and journalism Anthony Bourdain did. Bourdain treated ordering soup like a search and rescue mission, and now every man thinks they have to spelunk into some cave in order to get a bowl of pho, and unless they do, they're not really having dinner. Everyone just needs to calm down, take a step back, enjoy the slice of pizza or burger you're eating. It's not that deep.
There you have it. It's not that deep. Anthony Bourdain destroyed the modern chef culture because of his non-stop quest to find the perfect soup. That's what he was all about, really. If you ever watch, No Reservations or any of his other shows, you'll probably get pretty close to the man, develop a parasocial relationship with him, and learn pretty quickly. That's all that made him tick, is that he was in a constant quest to find the world's greatest soup. And then as soon as he found that one ingredient, he knew he had found it. And now every single male chef emulates him by basically trying to find that one ingredient that'll make themselves have the perfect dish. Utter and complete nonsense, of which there is absolutely no meaning to derive from it, as it is gibberish. It's one of those things where you can make an entire segment and it sounds as if you're actually talking about something, but none of it is actually relevant to any of the things that you're discussing. And this is one of those cases. As someone who loved Anthony Bourdain and watched a lot of his shows and actually read his books as well, I can tell you that Anthony Bourdain was not on a constant search for the world's greatest cup of soup. He actually cared a lot more about the people behind the soup. That was actually the purpose of a lot of his show, was traveling to other countries, learning about their cultures, having and forming personal relationships with people, regular people, and especially chefs that don't often get a spotlight on them, such as a lot of cooking shows will follow, oh, we're going to this 5-star restaurant, we're going to this 2-star Michelin restaurant, this is a Michelin recommended place, it's some of the best things I've ever had. He was a lot more concerned with highlighting things that don't often get seen, especially in mainstream cooking or travel shows, which is, again, the actual cultures behind the foods itself. And that's what was really important to Anthony Bourdain. He was a humanist, and as a result of being a humanist, he's also one of the people who in the later half of his career faced a lot of backlash for speaking up for Palestinians and advocating on the behalf of Palestinians and the Palestinian cause, doing what is very, very rare, which is actually filming entire segments in a CNN back show where he would go to parts of Palestine and talk to people there, humanize them, and again, do work that I think he should be remembered forever for having accomplished. That was Anthony Bourdain. In fact, you can see in the later half of Anthony Bourdain's career how pissed off he started getting at the idea that the show had to be nothing more than an entertaining TV show. In one of the last seasons of No Reservations, he's traveling, I think, to the shores of Greece, and they tell him, hey, we want to have a really fun segment where you go on this boat and then you swim in the ocean and you see all these amazing, fantastic sea creatures that you're eventually going to eat and cook, and it'll be very magical and we'll love it. And him being, how are you going to hope that I just magically encounter this? And in that boat trip, when he starts swimming in the water, someone in the boat starts throwing all of those creatures behind him. Like he can actually hear them like just plopping and splashing in the water in the shot, and he gets really pissed off, and you can see how burnt out he is at that point in history with the very idea of producing content over what he wants to do, which is again further the understanding of the human experience and show how much more bonded and close we are together. Instead, it's just this trivial derivative fake, absolutely fake segment where he has to sit there pretending to swim in the water as they throw sharks that land behind him, and he's supposed to pretend like he's discovering them and like, oh my god, I can't believe I found this rare shark just swimming beside me, let's eat it, and make an episode out of that. That's what the producers want, and that's what the show wants, and that's what I guess part of the audience wants, but that's not who he was. He was a person who successfully came from the absolute depths of extreme addiction, we're talking using heroin on a daily basis, to climb out of that and to eventually achieve a post hardcore addiction super successful career that obviously gave himself a worldview that you do not find amongst most people who have travel shows, which is one that came close to near death, and not only close to near death, but one that also had him encounter and have socialization with people who are considered to be on the lower classes of society, people who are living on the street, people who are drug addicts, people who are on the verge of death, that kind of stuff. It really shaped his worldview. He speaks about it frequently, and also brings up the fact that he despised elements of modern bougie culinary culture that focuses and hyper focuses so much on how one single gastronomical experience can change humanity, or a simple ingredient. If we could just get this bird's nest off in this mountain, then we would have that one crucial, like, he hated that shit. This couldn't be further from the truth. Is there a problem within chef culture, kitchen culture, restaurant culture that is very, very chauvinistic and male dominated? Abso-fucking-lutely. I've worked in restaurants. I've been a dishwasher. I've experienced it firsthand. There's a large portion of that entire world that is dominated by men who have a very, very, toxic masculinity viewpoint on how the entire organization of a kitchen should be, all that kind of stuff. It's that part is true, but that's not because of Anthony Bourdain. And to try and saddle Anthony Bourdain with that, or to try and just bring up this nonsensical thing where it's like, all of you have seen The Bear. You've seen how stressed they all are. You've seen how fucked up that is. Yeah, it's because of Anthony Bourdain. Because he made men believe that they have to go on a quest to find the perfect soup. And all men now who want to be chefs are on this quest, and they all want to one-up each other by finding the one secret ingredient that will make the soup the best soup of all soup. But at this point, it's really hard to do that when we're running out of things to discover. So now they're all fighting each other over what the fuck? This is nonsensical. It's absolute gibberish to try and tarnish the career of someone who was not this. There are other people that you could probably say, hey, by the way, this asshole was really, really bad for chefs' culinary experiences and just the totality of food culture as a whole. Yeah, there's lots of guys you could point towards. Anthony Bourdain ain't that. That's basically it. It's kind of wild. But then it turns out the internet knew more about Suzie Weiss than I did, and then the Majority Report posted this video, which I didn't even know about.
She was rejected by Princeton, Yale, Penn, and Vanderbilt.
Sorry, let's rewind that. She was rejected by what?
She was rejected by Princeton, Yale, Penn, and Vanderbilt.
Right.
Among the reasons...
So, I mean, according to right-wing ideology, we live in a meritocracy. That's because she wasn't as good as her competitors. And that should be the end of it, right? That's how the whole system works. And that's a testament to how great meritocratic systems are.
Suzie says she was rejected, quote, diversity. I offer about as much diversity as a saltine cracker. She writes, I also probably should have started a fake charity, collecting donations for the underprivileged chimpanzees of the Congo. She even blames her parents, writing, I noticed long ago that my parents gave up on parenting me. I've never sat down at a piano, never plucked a violin.
Oh.
Still, the competition is steep. Princeton accepted only 7% of its over 26,000 applicants this year.
Just because you're an A student and have great test scores doesn't mean you're eligible for an Ivy League school.
Some call Suzie a truth teller. Others say she's entitled.
To those of you disgusted by this, shocked that I take for granted the wonderful gifts I've been afforded, I say, shh, The Real Housewives is on.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, like privileged and you know, normal people don't get to experience this. You don't get to experience a rejection in life and then turn it into a news segment. Hey, by the way, is local channel 7 interested in a story? What do you got? I was rejected from my college. Why? Because I'm not a minority. Oh, that's why they rejected you. Did they say that? No, I just didn't get accepted. I just got a non-acceptance sheet. I'm the one saying that that is because I wasn't a visible minority. Okay, no, that's enough. No, we'll get you on. Daytime, nighttime, whatever you want. We can do full segments on this. We can run this story. Do you have a lot of things to say on your own about why you think you were rejected? Yeah, I do. I got some things to say. Some people have said they're kind of weird and racist, but I'll say them.
And Suzie Weiss joins us now. Suzie, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Well, that's one way to blow off a little steam in an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, by the way, and also thank you to the Wall Street Journal for printing my piece.
Well, what were you hoping to accomplish?
Well, it's a funny...
I'm just going to tell you this, like, as someone who did apply to colleges and universities, you do get, like, shit tons of rejections. Or as someone who's applied to jobs, especially jobs in, like, you know, the field of film, television, editing, creative fields, you get thousands of rejections. Thousands, literally thousands. It never once dawned on me to take any of those and other than be like, oh, I guess I got to work harder next time or anything like that. To be like, there's a story here. What's the story? I think that this has nothing to do with me as a person because of my skills or not being a strong enough candidate. I think this was reverse racism. They did this because of my white skin, and that's why. And I think that's the reason. That's what's going on here. I wonder if news has enough time to dedicate a story to this with everything else that's happening in the world.
Story, actually. The piece was written... I got rejected from a bunch of schools in one day, and like any teenager, I'm sure like millions of teenagers that day, I was crying to my mom, and she said, I cannot hear about this anymore, just go talk to someone else. So I called my sister, and I was crying, but she was hysterically laughing, and she said, go write this down. So I did, and this is what came out of it.
Actually,
See, like for myself, I think most other people, you dry your tears, and you apply to the next tier of universities. Because, yeah, I didn't get into my A-listers. That sucks, but that's life. I'm going to apply to my Bs. I got into 1B, not the rest. I'm going to apply to some of my Cs. I got into 3 of my Cs, 1 of my Bs. I make a choice. That's what I guess normal people do when they face rejection.
asked our viewers what they thought. We put the...
No, this is not satire. This is all real life. This is the same person who now is working for the, quote, free press, the right-wing outlet, making stories on how Anthony Bourdain has destroyed chef culture, specifically for men, because he made men desire soup, the special soup with the sacred ingredient.
Op-ed online, 53% said it's a whiny one-woman pity party. 30% said it accurately captures what...
Today, this is news. This is apparently news. It's a whiny one-woman pity party. I probably for the first time would have been like, wait, how do we vote? I want to participate in this. Yeah, I know the stakes are low. I don't really care, but this speaks to me.
College admissions officers expect these days, and 17% said they weren't sure whether to take it seriously or be
or be appalled by it. Sorry, I would have just said, is there an option where I'm just appalled? I'll pick the appalled option, please.
Be appalled by it. So what do you say to those 53% who say, okay, you're blaming others, but not yourself?
I want to did you call my grandparents? Because I don't think you got them in there.
Well, where would they come down?
Hey, I'll give Suzie this, if nothing else. She has pretty impressive media training for someone that young. I would not have been on a show where they asked me to talk about this and in any way been confident. I would have been like, oh, well, thank you. Thanks for inviting me. Yeah, so it turns out I was rejected because of my whiteness, and I should talk about that. Have you ever considered that this could be profoundly embarrassing and may haunt you for the rest of your days, and that people will bring this up any single time you try to have an opinion on something that you are woefully inadequately prepared to talk on? Have you thought about that? No? Well, we have a poll. We can show you right now what the general public thinks of you. What the general public thinks of me? Yeah, there it is at the very top. Yeah, apparently you're just an entitled brat. Oh, my mom said this would be a good idea. Uh-oh.
don't let this happen to you. Go to serfscoffee.com to order the only end-to-end owned indigenous coffee company that delivers blood-free, conflict-free, and cruelty-free beans right to your door. 0% of people who drink serfscoffee.com have exploded spontaneously. By ordering right now, you get 10% off plus free shipping, and it's the best way to enjoy delicious coffee while not exploding. That's serfscoffee.com, serfscoffee.com.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This video wouldn't be at all possible without the financial support of all the people whose names you see on the screen right now. And if you want to unlock secret bonus episodes, content that we can't post anywhere else, or get the videos early before anyone else gets to see them, please go on to patreon.com/theserfs. For as little as $1, you can help support this channel and help make more videos like this possible. Our executive producers are Anna Loves Riley, Adrian McCarthy, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Garrett Sandoval, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Richard Boehm, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Tigwick, Trav, and Words Greenwood. And also, it wouldn't be possible without all the names you see on the screen right now. Again, if you want to help produce this content, it's only made possible through the funding of our patrons. Head on down to patreon.com/theserfs. That's patreon.com/theserfs.